I, Ibrahim Traoré, stand before you to say, our enemies will know no rest. I proclaim with fierce determination. With Operation Swift Descent, our paratroopers bring the fight to them, landing fast and fearless to protect our land and our people.
Envision the first light of dawn casting its golden embrace upon the crimson earth of Bobo-Dioulasso, a city pulsating with life, where the very air hums with vibrant energy. The morning unfolds gently, as it always has. The intoxicating sweetness of ripe mangoes, heavy on their branches, mingles with the earthy aroma of coffee brewed in roadside stalls. At the Grand Marché, merchants unfurl their kaleidoscope of wares, vibrant textiles, fragrant spices, and intricate crafts. The rhythmic roar of motorbikes, the city's lifeblood, weaves through the streets, dodging pedestrians and sturdy, time-worn Peugeots. Children, their laughter echoing through narrow alleys, chase one another en route to school, their bright uniforms a vivid contrast against the dusty paths. This is a morning of serene perfection, a living tapestry of daily life at the cultural heart of Burkina Faso. Above, the sky stretches as an unbroken canvas of pale blue, tranquil, promising the heat of the day to come. Then, something shifts. It is not a sound at first, but a sensation, an imperceptible ripple in the atmosphere. High above, specks appear against the azure expanse, growing with breathtaking speed. These are not birds. They are military transport planes, soaring in steadfast formation. No menacing roar of jet engines disrupts the peace, only the distant, steady hum of propellers. And then, the heavens bloom. From the bellies of these aircraft, hundreds upon hundreds of parachutes unfurl. Not in chaos, but in a deliberate, orchestrated symphony. They drift downward, silent and graceful, like a field of dark, exotic blossoms opening in the air. Below, the clamor of life softens into a hushed reverence. The people pause, their faces lifted skyward. A fruit vendor forgets the mango in her hand. Children halt their games, pointing upward with wide-eyed wonder. There is no panic, no outcry, no explosions, no trails of smoke, no signs of battle. This is no foreign invasion. These descending warriors are their own. The silence is the most profound element. A purposeful silence, a testament to precision and dominion. It is less an assault than a surgical strike. War, it seems, has learned to enter the city with the quiet grace of a falling leaf, not the fury of a tempest. This is Operation Swift Descent, not merely a military exercise, but a resounding, unspoken declaration for Burkina Faso to itself, its foes, and the world. The old ways are no more. A new art of warfare has dawned, heralded by warriors descending from the skies. Deep within the heart of Bobo-Dioulasso, far from the bustling markets and public squares, lies a place spoken of in hushed, reverent tones. It is no tourist attraction, no landmark celebrated on postcards. It is a service to troops aéroportees SITAP, the elite airborne training center. Its formal French name belies the raw, unrelenting reality of what transpires within its walls. SITAP is not merely a military base. It is a forge where ordinary soldiers are tempered into something extraordinary. It is the beating heart of Burkina Faso's new military doctrine, the birthplace of the nation's most indomitable warriors. To enter SITAP is to step into a realm where comfort is a forgotten luxury and limits are meant to be shattered, not revered. This is no place for the hesitant or faint-hearted. Here, recruits are systematically broken and rebuilt stronger than ever. The training is a relentless assault on every facet of their being. Physically, they are pushed to the brink of collapse, running miles under the scorching sun, bearing heavy packs, and navigating brutal obstacle courses until their muscles scream in protest. Mentally, they are tested with complex tactical dilemmas, forced to make life-or-death decisions while sleep-deprived and under immense pressure. Emotionally, they are taught to master fear, to remain composed in chaos, and to trust the soldier beside them with their very lives. The core skill taught at SITAP, parachuting, is not about aesthetics or spectacle. It is a fundamental tool for survival in the unique, brutal war Burkina Faso wages. Today's battles are not fought on clearly defined fronts between uniformed armies. The enemy is a specter, a fluid, unpredictable militia striking without warning and vanishing into vast, harsh Sahel landscape. They do not fight fairly. Terror is their primary weapon, targeting soft civilian marks, villages, schools, clinics. To counter such a foe, soldiers must be more than strong. They must become phantoms themselves, appearing from nowhere faster than rumors can spread. This is SITAP's promise: to forge warriors who can descend from the heavens, landing at the heart of chaos, and seizing control before the enemy comprehends their presence. One might justly ask why this vital center of military excellence was established in Bobo-Dioulasso, the nation's second city, rather than the capital, Ouagadougou. The capital houses the government, the nexus of national power, and the primary logistical hub. Yet, choosing Bobo-Dioulasso was a strategic masterstroke rooted in geography, history, and profound understanding of the conflict's nature. The city's location is its greatest asset. Picture Burkina Faso as a vast, intricate chessboard. The most perilous pieces, insurgent forces, clustered in the north and east along the porous borders with Mali and Niger. Placing SITAP in Ouagadougou would mean deployments to these hotspots still require significant travel time. Bobo-Dioulasso, however, occupies a unique strategic pocket. It is far enough south to be insulated from the primary conflict zones, providing a secure environment for uninterrupted training, a critical factor for mastering complex skills. Yet, Bobo-Dioulasso is geographically central in a way the capital is not. It sits like a spider at the heart of a web. From here, paratroopers can deploy with near-equal speed and efficiency in any direction. North of the Sahel, east of the volatile Tapoa province, west of the Mali border, or south to safeguard the nation's economic lifelines. In a war where every minute can mean the difference between a village saved or razed, this maneuverability is priceless. Paratroopers, by their nature, need no roads, which are often mined or ambushed. They require only a clear sky from Bobo-Dioulasso. The entire nation lies within their reach in hours, not days. The city's soul is also steeped in military history. A key garrison town during colonial times, it was where French forces trained African soldiers. After independence, Burkina Faso did not erase this past but built upon it, transforming a legacy of foreign control into a symbol of national self-reliance. SITAP is no gleaming, high-tech facility funded by foreign billions. It is a wholly Burkinabe institution, shaped by decades of experience and an unrelenting resolve to create something of their own. It has evolved to be lean, resourceful, and independent, shedding reliance on foreign instructors and outdated borrowed methods. This is a training hub built by Burkinabe soldiers, for Burkinabe soldiers to fight Burkina Faso's battles. Operation Swift Ascent, the massive airborne exercise in Bobo-Dioulasso in 2025, was no mere drill or parade. It was the ultimate test, a real-world validation of every lesson taught at SITAP, a confirmation of the entire airborne doctrine upon which the nation stakes its future. Its scale was unprecedented for Burkina Faso's military. Over 500 soldiers participated in a single, coordinated parachute drop. Each was a graduate of SITAP's grueling program, a master of their craft. Their journey to this moment began months earlier on the Academy's punishing training grounds. They endured countless drills preparing for this exact scenario. They learned to jump in pitch-black nights without moonlight, relying solely on equipment and instinct. They practiced navigating through simulated sandstorms and torrential rains, mastering landings and regrouping in zero-visibility conditions. They were trained in survival techniques, left for days in remote areas with minimal supplies to test their ability to endure and operate behind enemy lines without support. They were not merely taught to use parachutes. They were forged to thrive in uncertainty and chaos. When the day of Operation Swift Ascent arrived, the air crackled with focus and resolve. As the soldiers boarded transport planes, they carried no mock rifles or performed rehearsed motions. Their weapons were real, their ammunition live, their objectives deadly serious. The moment they leaped from the aircraft, the clock began ticking. Upon landing, there was no time for rest or celebration. The second phase commenced instantly. They executed their missions with speed and precision. Some units were tasked with securing critical infrastructure, like a simulated airport or power plant. Others established secure communication links with command center, a vital task in real-world scenarios. A third group faced a high-stakes mission, rescuing civilians, played by fellow soldiers from a hostile zone. Every movement was timed. Every decision was scrutinized. There were no instructors holding hands, no second chances. This was designed to mirror the brutal reality of war as closely as possible. Though the drop zone was near Bobo-Dioulasso, the exercise simulated the perilous conditions of the nation's most dangerous regions, like the Dapoa Forest or the volatile border triangle where Burkina Faso meets Mali and Niger. These are places where insurgents can emerge from the brush, where roads are deadly traps, and where conventional ground forces are often too slow to make a difference. Operation Swift Descent proved that Burkina Faso's paratroopers could bypass these obstacles entirely. They could land in minutes, fully prepare to fight, stabilize chaos, and achieve their objectives before the enemy knew they were coming. It was a resounding triumph and a powerful proof of concept. To grasp why Burkina Faso has staked its future on paratroopers, one must understand the enemy they face. This is no conventional war against a standing army. No enemy tanks roll across borders. No fighter jets scream overhead. No clear battle lines are drawn in the sand. The enemy is a phantom, a hydra known by many names, JNM, ISIS and the Greater Sahara, but united by a single tactic, terror. These are bands of fighters, shadowy, decentralized networks operating outside all known rules of war. They do not seek to hold territory in the traditional sense, with flags and government buildings. Their power lies in sowing chaos and fear. Their strategy is one of attrition, designed to erode the state and sever the bond of trust between government and people. They avoid direct battles with the military, where they would be outgunned. Instead, they strike the softest targets with brutal hit-and-run attacks. They sweep into defenseless villages at midnight, burning homes, stealing livestock, and executing any who resist. They target schools, torching them to deny children education and create a lost generation. They attack clinics, killing nurses and destroying medicine, ensuring even the sick and wounded have nowhere to turn. After each atrocity, they melt back into the vast, unforgiving Sahel, vanishing into the desert or blending with civilians before any military response can mobilize. For years, Burkina Faso's conventional army, trained in outdated tactics, struggled to respond. Their heavy armored convoys were slow and cumbersome, easy targets for roadside bombs and ambushes. By the time soldiers navigated treacherous roads to reach an attack site, they were often too late, finding only smoldering ruins, grieving survivors, and an enemy long gone. The insurgents exploited this delay perfectly, crafting a narrative of a helpless state unable to protect its citizens. Each tardy response reinforced their message. The government cannot save you. We are in control. This asymmetric war, a conflict of the swift against the sluggish, demanded a radical new approach. Paratroopers are the perfect antidote to insurgent tactics. Where the enemy relies on speed and surprise, paratroopers are faster and more surprising. They embody a fundamental shift in Burkina Faso's military doctrine, from slow, reactive defense to rapid, proactive intervention. They are defined by three core principles: speed, surprise, and adaptability. Speed is their most obvious advantage. As discussed, conventional forces are bound by terrain, tethered to roads that can be blocked, mined, or ambushed. Paratroopers are unbound, moving through the sky, the ultimate high ground, bypassing all earthly obstacles. This drastically cuts response times. The golden hour in counterinsurgency is the critical window immediately following an attack. If a military force can arrive within this time, they can engage attackers, save lives, and prevent the enemy's escape. Paratroopers can shrink response times from hours or days to minutes. This ability to close the gap between attack and response is revolutionary, robbing insurgents of their most precious asset, time. Surprise is their second weapon. Insurgents plan attacks based on calculated government response times. They know how long it takes a convoy to arrive. They never expect soldiers to drop from the sky directly onto them. This shock and disorientation can shatter the enemy's morale and cohesion, turning hunters into hunted in an instant. It forces fighters to constantly look over their shoulders, fearing the very sky, making them less bold and less effective. Adaptability is the third and perhaps most critical principle. At SITAP, Soldiers are taught far more than parachuting and rifle skills. They are trained to be wholly self-reliant, capable of operating independently in hostile territory for days if needed. They are not just trigger pullers, but multi-skilled survivors. Some are trained as field medics, able to treat injured civilians and comrades on the spot. Others carry advanced portable communication devices, enabling them to transmit intelligence, video, coordinates, and enemy assessments in real time to headquarters, even from the deepest forests or remotest deserts. Many are taught to work with locals, building trust and gathering on-the-ground intelligence. They are trained to be problem solvers, strategists, and diplomats all at once, able to adapt to any situation they land in. This airborne strategy is not solely about military victories or enemy body counts. Its most profound and far-reaching impact is on the people of Burkina Faso. Terrorism, at its core, is a war for the hearts and minds of the populace. Insurgents thrive in an atmosphere of fear and abandonment. Their power grows each time a village is attacked with no one coming to its aid. Every unanswered cry for help strengthens their grip, leaving villagers feeling the state has forgotten them, that they are utterly alone. This sense of helplessness is fertile ground for extremism to take root. When paratroopers descend from the sky, landing amidst or immediately after an attack, they bring more than guns and ammunition. They bring hope. Their sudden arrival is a powerful, tangible symbol that the government is fighting back, that it is present, and that it has not abandoned its people. Imagine being a villager cowering in your home, hearing the horrific sounds outside, believing all is lost. Then you look to the sky and see soldiers descending, not on a distant road, but here, now. That single moment can erase years of insurgent propaganda. It is a promise kept, a demonstration of commitment stronger than any political speech. These soldiers are not just defending territory. They are defending the very idea of community and the sacred bond of trust between a nation and its citizens. As they administer first aid to an injured child, share water with a frightened elder, or simply stand guard through the night, they rebuild that sacred trust one person at a time. They show that the state is not an abstract concept in a distant capital, but a tangible presence ready and able to protect them. This restoration of faith is, in the long run, a more potent counterinsurgency weapon than any bomb or bullet. It starves the enemy of psychological oxygen and empowers local communities to resist, knowing help is not just a possibility, but a reality that can arrive from clouds. Operation Swift Ascent and Burkina Faso's new military posture do not exist in isolation. They are central to a far greater shift sweeping across the West African Sahel. In 2023, a pivotal event unfolded. Burkina Faso, alongside neighbors Mali and Niger, formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AS. All three nations, led by military governments, rose to power, promising to end insecurity and expel foreign influence. The AES is not a mere non-aggression pact. It is a mutual defense treaty. An attack on one is an attack on all. The AES's formation was a direct response to years of failed international coalitions and a shared desire to chart a new path based on regional cooperation and self-determination. Its stated goal was clear: to create a unified front against the common enemy of terrorism and to cease relying on Western powers for security. For too long, the alliance existed largely on paper, a collection of promises and political rhetoric. But promises mean little without military capability to back them. This is where Burkina Faso's paratroopers come in. They provide the AES with a reliable, proven model of a rapid response force. They demonstrate that a Sahelian nation, using its own resources and personnel, can develop a modern, highly effective military capability perfectly tailored to the region's challenges. Burkina Faso is not just building an army for itself. It is crafting a blueprint that its allies can study, adopt, and integrate. The success of SITAP and Operation Swift Ascent gives real weight to the AES's promises, transforming it from a political agreement into a formidable, emerging military bloc. The ultimate vision extends far beyond Burkina Faso's borders. It is a future where airborne strategy becomes a cornerstone of the Alliance of Sahel States collective security. Imagine a scenario where elite paratroopers from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are not merely separate national units, but part of a single, integrated joint task force. Picture them training together at SITAP, sharing tactics and intelligence, standardizing their equipment and communication protocols. In this future, when insurgents launch an attack on a village in Mali's border region, the response is not limited to Mali's army. A command center staffed by officers from all three nations could instantly deploy a mixed paratrooper unit. A Burkina transport plane could drop Malian and Nigerian soldiers into the hotspot within an hour. They would need no permission from Paris or Washington. They would not be constrained by international borders that insurgents freely cross. They could land wherever needed most, creating a unified, lightning-fast front that the enemy cannot predict or counter. This is no longer a distant dream. Behind closed doors, military leaders from AES nations are already deep in discussions, planning joint exercises and airborne drills. These operations will be African-designed, African-led, and executed for the benefit of African people. This marks a seismic shift from post-colonial norms. For decades, African militaries were often trained in NATO tactics and UN peacekeeping rules, strategies ill-suited to the harsh realities of Sahel counterinsurgency. Burkina Faso's airborne doctrine is different because it is organic, born from the region's specific terrain, culture, and enemy. It is powerful proof that African self-reliant solutions can be far more effective than imported ones. The impact of this new strategy extends far beyond the immediate battlefield, creating profound psychological effects on both enemies and civilians. Insurgent groups build their entire brand on the myth of their invincibility and the government's weakness. Each successful attack they carry out unpunished reinforces this potent narrative, demoralizing civilians and attracting recruits drawn to their image of strength. The sudden arrival of paratroopers shatters this myth. It introduces uncertainty and fear into the enemy's calculations. When fighters can no longer be certain they have hours to operate before facing resistance, their confidence erodes. The sky, once a symbol of freedom and escape, becomes a source of potential danger. This sends a clear, chilling message to every insurgent. You are no longer untouchable. At any moment, anywhere, hell can come for your victims, and death can come for you. Simultaneously, it sends a powerful, contrasting message to civilians. We are here. We are fighting for you, and we will not give up. This is a reassuring and empowering message. It can inspire villagers to cooperate more freely with security forces, providing critical intelligence needed to dismantle insurgent networks from within. This shift also has significant global implications. For years, foreign powers like France, the US, and UN agencies wielded substantial influence over African security affairs, controlling access to advanced weapons, satellite intelligence, and financial aid. A self-led, independent African rapid deployment force fundamentally alters this dynamic. If Burkina Faso and its AES allies can effectively secure their own territory without foreign help, they no longer need to seek foreign permission for their actions. This is not just about military might. It is a profound reclamation of sovereignty. Of course, this bold new strategy is not a silver bullet, and it comes with formidable challenges. Developing an elite airborne force is a remarkable achievement, but it is only the first step. Dropping soldiers from the sky is the easy part. Sustaining them on the ground is the challenge. Paratroopers, by definition, are light infantry. They land with only what they can carry. No tanks for heavy firepower, no armored vehicles for protection, no immediate supply lines. When they land in hostile territory, they are often isolated and vulnerable. They must hold their ground against a potentially larger enemy force until reinforcements can arrive by land, if they can get through at all. The enemy is cunning and adaptable, quick to learn how to anticipate drop zones or set traps for descending soldiers. A successful mission can turn disastrous with a single misstep or faulty intelligence. To make the strategy truly sustainable, Burkina Faso must build a complete ecosystem around its paratroopers. This requires significant investment in key areas. First, they need superior intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) capabilities to know exactly where to deploy. Second, they need better communication systems that are resistant to jamming or interception. Third, and most critically, they need a robust logistical system and the ability to rapidly reinforce or evacuate their troops, perhaps with a fleet of attack and transport helicopters. Finally, all of this costs money. Building and maintaining such a force without relying on foreign funding is a monumental challenge for a nation with limited economic resources. The road ahead is daunting, but Burkina Faso's progress thus far shows us a challenge they're determined to overcome. Ultimately, there is something profoundly inspiring and iconic about Burkina Faso's paratroopers. They are not merely soldiers. They are living embodiments of a nation's fierce struggle to stand on its own. They are a new kind of African hero, not from foreign land or a Hollywood film, but from the very red earth of the Sahel. They are defined not by the weapons they carry, but by their resilience, adaptability, and deep connection to the people they protect. Picture that soldier one last time. He has just landed in a dusty, wounded village, his parachute still tangled in a baobab tree. He carries not only a rifle, but a backpack filled with life-saving medical supplies. He carries a radio to connect a forgotten village to the outside world. He carries a map not store-bought, but drawn from local knowledge and his own memories. When he speaks the people's language. He understands their customs, and he recognizes the fear and hope in their eyes. He is no occupier or stranger. He is a neighbor, a guardian, a son, a brother. In that single, powerful moment, he is not just fighting a war. He is rebuilding a nation's hope, one village at a time. Operation Swift Ascent is only the beginning, a single chapter in a far greater saga. If Burkina Faso and its Sahel allies can continue this path, innovating, training, and building on this foundation of self-reliance, they could fundamentally reshape the future of the entire region. A part of the world long defined by chaos, poverty, and conflict could become a new model of African strength, unity, and ingenuity. The world is watching, even if it does not yet fully grasp the significance of what it sees. Burkina Faso is not just changing how it fights a war. It is changing how it sees itself and how it demands to be seen. This is a nation seizing its own destiny. The skies above Bobo-Dioulasso, once merely a vast blue expanse, are now alive with profound possibility. And the next time those parachutes bloom in the air, they will carry more than soldiers. They will carry the future of the Sahel on their shoulders. The saga of Burkina Faso's paratroopers is more than a tale of military valor. It is a beacon for all who seek to forge a brighter future through resilience and unity. From the skies of Bobo-Dioulasso, we learn that true strength lies not in weapons or numbers, but in the courage to innovate, the resolve to stand self-reliant, and the commitment to protect the vulnerable. Let this story inspire us to educate ourselves, to embrace challenges as opportunities, and to build communities grounded in trust and shared purpose. As the parachutes bloom above, they carry a timeless lesson. When a nation dares to dream and act as one, no obstacle is too great, and no destiny is beyond reach.